I don't love bragging in front of all of you, but to be honest, I don't not love it enough to not do it. So growing up, I think that you could say that I was pretty good at stuff. I was a quick study, I picked things up fast, and a lot of the things just the other people had a hard time with came easy to me on the first try. One might have said that I was naturally gifted. Now, you pick anything, jump shooting, wood chopping, asparagus picking, gift wrapping, toilet clogging, you name it, I was great at it. And one of the things that was easiest for me growing up was math. And unlike those other things, this is actually a true story. I was top of my class in math every single time, and I never did any homework. I just skated by on my brilliant mind. Got to college, and I just kept coasting because it was easy until Calculus 2. I had this awesome teacher who would let us use a note card on tests, and we could even use the whole thing, the front, the back, the sides. His joke, not mine. He would tell us exactly what homework questions would line up to what questions on the test. And so, since I just thought I was awesome at math, I would simply copy down a completed problem for each question, slam it on the note card, and then when the test happened, I would just look at the question, insert the new numbers into that old formula, and just hope that it worked out. I was literally doing calculus the same way I play Super Smash Bros., just like mashing the buttons all the time. And in a shocking turn of events, I flamed out. I gutted through that math class and then had to switch minors from math to science because I was so embarrassed that I was bad at math. I thought math was gonna be it. I'd always been easy for me and I just quit. I had this skill, this God-given ability to be good at math, yet look at me now and I'm the last person you would ever ask a serious math question to. My skill set in math hasn't gotten any better since I was a little kid, and it's not because I just got bad at those things, like it's not because I just forgot math, it's because I stopped practicing. I ignored doing everything that actually makes you better at something. I ignored practicing. And I, maybe like some of you, would love to think that I could just become good at stuff, that I could just download things into my brain and instantly acquire a skill. But you and I both know that's not how life works. If we want to be good at something, you have to work at it. You have to practice it. You have to make an effort to improve at that skill, and everybody knows this. Malcolm Gladwell even popularized a thing called the 10,000 hour rule in this book, Outliers. It states that it takes roughly 10,000 hours of deliberate practice at something to become an expert. It doesn't even matter the thing. If you intentionally put your head down, focus, and effectively practice at a skill for 10,000 hours, you can be an expert. The playbook is right in front of you. If you want to get good at something, just practice it. And hopefully that should be encouraging if you're a budding basketball or softball player, you're an aspiring Rocket League player, the third chair clarinet, or the lowest dude on the chain at your job site and your only job is to lug around a wheelbarrow. With enough focused practice, you can become someone who is so much better at that skill, someone who people would look at to lead them and maybe teach them to even do that skill, and it just comes down to practice. Now, we usually only attach practice to things that we're trying to get better at. But what if I made this argument that whether we like it or not, we're actually practicing at this thing called existence every single day of our life? Every single second, we are practicing something. We are changing, growing, being molded by the things around us. We're practicing sitting on the couch and watching TV and practicing talking back to our parents the same way we're practicing hitting a jump shot. All of the decisions and habits of our life, the practices, are shaping who we're becoming. We're practicing with the books, the music, the TikToks, our friends and family, our teachers and coaches, this student ministry. It's all practice. It's all forming us, shaping the kind of person we're becoming. And this is all happening whether you like it or not. All of us, every single day, are practicing ourselves into a new version of ourselves. And sure, that means the clothes we wear, the things we watch, the words we say are being shaped, but it also means something deeper is happening. Our emotions, our beliefs are constantly being formed spiritually by the things we're practicing. Here's what's so cool about this though. It means that you and I have the ability to change and affect what we're becoming by the things that we practice. If I wanted to be intentional about changing, about practicing something new, I think the first thing that you and I would do is we would track down a coach. So it's like something or someone who knew how to do the thing we wanted to do, and we would place ourselves next to that person. And this is important. Once we placed ourselves next to that person, we would listen to the things that that person was saying. Like if I wanted to become a great plumber, I wouldn't go find a welder. That's stupid. I would go find a plumber. And then when the plumber started telling me things I should do, I wouldn't just say, well, you know what? I actually know more about plumbing than you do. No, I would listen. I would do things. I would learn from him. And I think there are three obvious things that we do if we want to get better at something. The first thing is this. If you want to get better at something, you got to find a coach. The second thing, if you want to get better at something, you got to listen to your coach. And the third thing is if you want to get better at something, you need to practice it. And can I ask you like a big life question? When it comes to your existence, what type of future are you practicing to be? Do you have a plan? Do you have a coach, or are you just winging it? Hoping that if you just flounder around practicing to become whatever feels good or interesting or right at the time will turn you into the type of person you desire to be. You wouldn't wing being a plumber or a basketball player or a flute player, but I bet a bunch of us are winging our existence. And it doesn't take long to realize that this is a terrible plan. And my question for all of us, I think, is just, what if there's a different option? Jesus, you may have heard of him. Something you may not know about him is he was a rabbi. And a rabbi was a teacher, or really a coach, and not just someone who ran a classroom or blew into a whistle. A rabbi had this way of life. And they didn't just teach information, they molded how to live. And if you chose to practice that way of life, you'd be called to be their disciple, a student, if you will, of that specific way. And you wouldn't just practice this way of life from 3 to 5 p.m. after school every day. You would literally follow them around. You'd watch how they prayed, how they ate, how they treated people, and how they handled stress. You weren't just trying to learn from them, you were trying to become like them. It was this intense life of mentorship. And only the best of the best students got invited into it. And maybe you've heard these verses before, even if you've never been to church. This is from Matthew. Chapter 4, verse 18, it says this: as Jesus was walking beside the Sea of Galilee, he saw two brothers, Simon called Peter and his brother Andrew, and they were casting a net into the lake because they were fishermen. Come follow me, Jesus said, and I will send you out to fish for people. And at once they left their nets and followed him. Now, knowing what we know about Jesus being a rabbi, these words are a bit stickier. He's not just inviting them to believe a few ideas about God, to come follow him to summer camp for a week or follow him to church every Sunday for 2 hours. He's not just asking them to follow them when it's convenient or easy or when they want to. He's asking something way bigger of them. He's asking them to step into an intense life of mentorship. He's asking them to train to become a rabbi. He's inviting them to learn his ways of life, to be with him, to become like him, and to do what he did. See, Jesus is offering you a way that's not just winging your existence. He's providing a guidebook, a practice plan, if you will, a 10,000-hour journey into making sure that your life matters and is on plan and on purpose. And if you want to become someone who is shaped by Jesus into a Christ-centered difference maker, Jesus is calling you to step into this way of life. Jesus is saying that he wants you to be him. He wants you to follow the things that he's doing. And it sounds simple, because it is simple. Just follow Jesus. But following Jesus is definitely not easy. And I think it's because practicing isn't easy. And you be thinking, hey, isn't it just gonna be good enough if I just believe his way is better? Do I really have to practice the things that he says? Well, here's the words of Jesus. Whoever hears these words of mine and does not put them into practice is like a foolish man who builds his house on sand. According to Jesus, it's not just good enough to like the idea of him. It's not just good enough to hear his words and think his way is better. We need to actually put his words into practice. And here's where I'm actually going to leave you today. The next 4 weeks, we're continuing this series called The Way. And we're going to look at the practices Jesus calls us to. And we're going to brainstorm practical ways that you can start practicing those things. But before any of that matters, I think we all need to take time to answer two big questions. And the first one is this: do you believe that the way of Jesus is better? And if you do, can I ask you this? Why aren't you practicing the things that he's saying? In your group today, you're going to answer those two questions. And can I just say this? Don't just Jesus juke your way out of those questions. Can you actually answer them? Like, for real, answer them? Even if you don't like your answer. And then, why Why don't you do the hard work of asking yourself why you answered that way? And maybe ask yourself, do you want to change your answer? Do you like your answer? At CCV Students, we believe that Jesus offers a better way. And he desperately wants us to follow him on that journey, to be with him, to be like him, and to practice the things that he did. These next 4 weeks, they could change your life, but only if you're willing to put in the practice.